That's funny. That's funny. Didn't see you there. I guess while you're here, I could tell you about Hylics. And I think that the most concise and accurate summary of the game is this Steam comment. But maybe you're not here for a quick, cute, petite, tiny little small summary. Perhaps you're looking for something more comprehensive. If so, you've come to the right place. Hylics is a game that was released in October of 2015, making it about as old as the average Skibbity toilet paper, and was developed by Mason Lindroth. It was made in RPG Maker, a game engine which has birthed a lot of unique games. And the game itself is, well, an RPG. So, as I'm sure you've already guessed by now, the gameplay is just your standard turn-based RPG setup. You've got your attack, guard, special, and things. But that is where the similarities between the average RPG game and Hylics stop, as this game is commonly described as feeling like a fever dream. A mix of the strange graphics coupled with music that triggers my fight or flight. I couldn't help but feel like I was experiencing the after effects of downing 2 bottles of Dayquil. It also didn't help that the game runs at a very low resolution, which I found funny. But contrary to how it sounds, Hylics is a very fun game. In fact, it's an experience. So in this video, I'm going to cover as much as I can about the game in order to try to get you to play it. And before we continue, I guess there are spoilers in this video, but in my opinion, it don't matter too much because the story is fairly straightforward, and I think that as a player, you could benefit from knowing about it. Nonetheless, I'll put spoiler warnings before a spoiler in case you want to go in completely blind. As I mentioned earlier, this is the dude that made Hylics. Mason Lindroth actually had created quite a few games before Hylics, such as Lullaby, Beachcomber, and my personal favorite, Weird Egg and Crushing Finger. All of them showcase not only Mason's unique style, but also his creativity. These games are very interesting and could probably warrant their own video, but this is the Hylics video, so we will talk about Hylics. The main reason I brought up these games was to demonstrate that Mason has a very distinguishable art style. Mason pulls these graphics off through the primary use of claymation. If you don't know what claymation is, to sum it up briefly, it's a medium that uses clay with stop motion in order to create organic feeling movement. And if you look closely at the Hylics world, you can definitely make out the clay landscape and creatures. Obviously, the effect of clay is combined with dithering / pixelation in order to really stylize the Hylics world. This is why the art style is so unique, and I think that this feverish representation of objects really helps nail down that feeling of surrealism that Mason was going for. Now, I know I spent a bit of time yapping about how the game looks and its background, but that simply doesn't matter if the game is boring. And Hylics is pretty much the farthest thing from boring. It does quite a good job at engaging you throughout the entire story with various discoveries. Let's start at the beginning, when you first find the game on Steam. It was immediately a standout because of how strange the story page is. It describes itself as a recreational program, and the preview images are seemingly nonsensical. So, now that your attention is hooked, the $3 price tag seems trivial when put up against your curiosity and the overwhelmingly positive reviews. So you download the game. And might I add, it looks like this in your Steam library. It's a title with 3 options: start, continue, and exit. If you're wondering how to get out of windowed, you need to press F1 on your keyboard, select the full screen button, and then restart the game. Assuming that you're playing blind though, you don't know that, and start up the game as is. This is Wayne, and he's on a quest to defeat Gibby, the Moon Lord. However, you'd be forgiven if you didn't quite catch that, considering that the intro text, along with pretty much all of the NPC dialogue, is randomly jumbled up nonsense.
Sustain my lard.
No thank you. Also, when I first played this game, it took me like 10 seconds to realize that you had to flip the lever in the Act 1 screen. I don't know, maybe I'm just dumb.
What do I do? Oh.
My point in showing this is to demonstrate how confusing the game feels on the first playthrough. It just throws you into it. Doesn't tell you any of the controls and lets the player figure out what to do. And this feeling of independence is a major component as to why this game is so appealing to me. There's no formal tutorial to spoon feed you what's going on and how to play the game. You just kind of have to figure it out on your own.
Do I have like... What am I doing?
I really appreciate when games put faith into the player. It makes the feeling of figuring something out all the more gratifying in software. Along with this feeling of discovering the features of this game, the music really adds to the ambience of it all. It's hard to describe the feeling that I get when hearing pretty much any of the songs from the Hylics OST, but I can certainly say that they bring a sense of comfort and strangeness. For example, here's Bathroom. It has a calm melody, but is mixed with seemingly out-of-tune string plucks, which gives me a sense of uneasiness yet peace at the same time. I don't know, I'm just kind of pulling this out of my ass, so I could just be tweaking. I don't even know what melody means. What I do know is that the music is pretty much a perfect fit for the abnormal environments that Wayne explores, and I think that it adds a lot to the experience. Now let's say that you've encountered your first baddie. You're ready to go, your dukes are up, but you get absolutely stomped, clobbered even. Your skin melts off in agonizing fashion, leaving just your bones, as many people do during death, and then you get teleported to this place. For some reason, there's fish and a bunch of crystals. This is the afterlife, where you can get Wayne to recover and teleport back into action via crystals. But of course, the game won't tell you that right away. Instead, you need to look around a little and recall the crystals that you've seen along your journey to figure out where each one leads. Yet again, the game surprises the player with its uniqueness, and as you continue, there are more surprises waiting for you. Oh, and cats look like this.
Look at this cute little cat.
Maybe I haven't sold you on the game yet, because you're in need of rich and deep lore. Well, unfortunately, Hylics doesn't really have super deep lore to my understanding. The fun part about the lore is actually more so understanding it as you play the game, so if you want to experience that, you should probably go play the game right now. But if you just want to be informed, I will deliver. Welcome. The game is set in a post-human world and follows Wayne. As mentioned earlier, Wayne wants to defeat Gibby the Moon Lord. The reason is because Gibby is causing the people of the world to speak in gibberish. So, Wayne embarks on his quest to defeat Gibby, and along the way meets an archaeologist named Didismon. Didismon is very interested in human technology, namely water dispensers and paper cups, and helps Wayne utilize these tools to their advantage. Eventually, Wayne meets another person for his party, Snosa. She is able to disintegrate many obstacles that they face. The crew also meets a warrior named Pangorma. After fighting him, Pangorma joins their team. Later, Wayne and his friends raid the laboratory and steal obscene amounts of money that they get after pressing a few buttons that obliterate whatever those things are. Using their ethically questionable money, they fly to the moon, but not before buying 50 hot dogs. Once they clear all of the guards, Wayne and his crew face off Gibby himself. It's a hard-fought battle, but Wayne ends up prevailing and they defeat Gibby. Gibby goes on to tell them that he rigged the moon to explode. Of course, during the game, I had no idea about the motives or the end goal, and kinda just blindly walked around until I progressed. However, it was fun to actually learn about the story as I went along. Admittedly, I was hoping for a deeper story that I could have fun analyzing, but the simple story actually kind of works for this game. I assume that Mason Lindroth's main focus was the art style and feeling of the game rather than creating these complicated and fleshed out characters with multiple motives and profound
Out of the vital engine far beyond. Okay. These guys are just spouting out nonsense. I don't get out of my way. Is that are those butt cheeks? Dude, those are butt cheeks. What the
Boo! No, I'm just joking. I'm not gonna scare you. Thank you for the 300 subscribers. Thank you, 300 subscribers. And some. Like 50. 60, I think, actually. I appreciate that. That's fun. You guys liked the last video, so that made me happy. This is dumb. This is dumb. I made an Instagram. So now you can follow your favorite YouTuber on YouTube. The best YouTuber of all time, I think, actually. And you just follow me. And then you will probably see, like, maybe sneak peeks at videos. Or maybe fun little, silly little creatures that I make. But yeah. This is also a new microphone. If you couldn't already tell, I'm probably going to be using this one. Oh, that was a big peak. Wow. Yeah, I'm probably going to be using this one for the next one. So, yeah, get used to it. Have a great day, epic viewer.